peers, how y'all doing today? I'm going to be doing a basing tutorial today on how I do my sand bases for my Grey Knights, as well as the other new army I'm working on, which is my Adeptus Custodes, because I kind of want to do a whole Imperium thing. So let's get on to it, and I'll show you how to make those sand bases, guys.
So guys, for the first color I'm going to be using here, I've got a 40mm base because most Custodes as well as Grey Knights and Terminators are coming on 40mm, so I'm going to be using this one for a Paladin. But got my 40mm base, and the first one and the color I'm going to use for the texture paint is going to be Armageddon Dust. I think I said that right. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my paintbrush here. I've got a very old beat up Citadel Drybrush, very beat up. So what you're going to do is, this stuff is all kind of glumped up anyways, so usually what I do is I just kind of go in here, grab a whole bunch of it on my brush, kind of like that, just slap it on there, and you just kind of want to evenly space it out to where when it dries it'll texture up, because you got to remember that when this stuff dries it actually kind of shrinks a little bit, as well as it's not going to exactly look like I'm doing it right now. So get some more out of here. And I'm going to try to get it all the way. You want to get it all the way to the edges. And you just kind of move your brush around and spread it around. Then I'll kind of got some excess, so I'll get that off. Just work it in. Like I said, they've got the newer, bigger pots. I still haven't finished up using this one. So GW's released the bigger ones, which do last a little longer and stuff. So, but I've actually, with the small pot, I've actually based 10 Terminators. 10 Terminators, a Dreadknight, Dreadnoughts, and 3 characters, as well as a, what else did I do? Dreadnought, yeah, and 3 characters, as well as a 5-man strike squad. So, oh boy, not good, TJ. So just like that. So I've actually got quite a bit of basing out of this. So that little pot right there, as well as I've done some other models and stuff using this, but you kind of see the texture on there a little bit. I'm going to kind of put it up to the camera. It's kind of all clumped up and built up. What I'm going to do is, then what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to let it dry for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then what I'm going to do is I'll take a look at it after I get done, after it dries, and then I'll take a look at it and see if it's to the point where I want it to be, or if I need to add some extra layers or something around here. So I'll be back in about 25 minutes and we'll get on to the next step. Well, you can kind of tell right now that it's been about 10 minutes. It's not quite dry yet, but you can already start seeing the spots where I need to add some more. So I'm going to do that so it all kind of dry together. So grab some more out of here. You can kind of just pick the spots that you think need a little more extra, like over here. You can tell there's not much there. But, you know, just doing that will help kind of make it an even looking sand type texture. Kind of fill it in a little better. That's the only bad thing about sometimes doing with a brush, so you got to get the excess off. But other than that, that is probably going to be a very good sand texture right there. So you can kind of tell it's all filled in nicely. You can see the texture on the side there. Looking very good. So we will let that dry, and after that we actually get to put some paint on. Well guys, so the next step on the sand base is, it is all dry. It did take about an hour to dry. It took a little longer than I thought it was going to, but you can see the nice texture we got here on the base. You can definitely see all the nice texture and everything we got. Definitely is going to be some good sand. So the first color I'm going to start out with Gorthor Brown, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put a giant layer across the whole entire model. Sorry about that. So we're going to put a giant layer, so it's going to take about 2 coats. But basically all we're going to do is we're going to paint Gorthor brown over the entire base, even on the edge. Got a big base brush here, wetted it down a lot so it'll cover really nicely, but according to get the full effect and get all the color, we're going to do around 2 coats of it. So just like that, guys, and I will be back after I get this all painted up and we'll move on to the next color. Hey guys, so for the next step, we're going to do a really heavy dry brush on this now that it's all done. You can tell it's all painted up, base is all done, one color. Now we're going to go on to Karak stone. So you're going to do a really heavy dry brush of this. So, got my pad over here, like that. I'm going to get a lot on there. Just kind of coat it over. Yep. Like that, we're going to get it all over the whole entire thing. Grab a little more paint here. Some more in there. Just like that. And then we will let that dry and we will move on to the next phase. Okay guys, on to the next step. We're going to take Seraphim Sepia. And we're going to actually wash that so we can get some of the recess edges to look a little darker and everything. So got my medium base brush, loading it up on there, and you're just going to put it all on. So yeah, no need to be very clean, dirty with this. You just want to get it all in the cracks and crevices. We're going to walk away and definitely let that dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. Could take longer, but when you look at it, you'll know if it's dry or not. And then we'll go on to, we have 2 more steps to get this base finished, and we will be done. Hey guys, as y'all can tell, the sepia is all dry. It's got a nice good recess edges, a little darker in the middle. And now we're just going to go over with some Screaming Skull. We're going to do a really light dry brush over all this. So we just want to make sure we bring out those top edges to give it that depth and that perception that we're looking for on the base, you know. So get a little bit on here, wipe most of it off, and just like this I will just be kind of running it over the highlighted edges, using kind of the edge of that brush. A little more back on there. And the reason why I think this base looks relatively good and will work well is if you're doing like kind of a dark colored model, it'll kind of highlight that dark color. So that's why I use it for my gray knights. And you can kind of see, as you can tell on the edges, it's kind of brought up just the edges. That's what we kind of wanted to do. And just like that, we have one more finishing touch. And I will get onto that finishing touch. It's what I like to do on all my bases. It really kind of gives it that little extra oomph when it comes to these kind of models. You really want to give it the bases that little extra touch to kind of make it look just like a little bit more of a desert. So guys, for that last finishing touch, I've got some arid dead grass. I got it from Gale Force 9. As you can tell, it does really look like dead grass. I think it kind of blends in well with like maybe if you're going for that desert look or that evil look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my super glue out, and with the super glue what I like to do is I'll put a couple dots on here. I'll kind of position, I know the guy's going to be kind of in the middle, so maybe I'll do one on the edge here. And should be coming out. Oh, there it is. So I'll just kind of run some super glue on certain edges, maybe some right in here in that little corner and that little depth in there. You know, just trying to get that super glue in like 3 or 4 really good spots. Let me get my tweezers out. Plop it on where it is. The more the better. There's other ways of doing this. This is kind of the way I like to do it. Got it on there, I'll kind of flip it over, tap it off a little bit, kind of get all the excess off. Put some more back on there just in case. Leave it sitting there for a bit, tap it off again, kind of covers it. You can kind of see on there, you see there's a little bit of arid grass on there, kind of looks like dead grass. Gives that base that little added texture, and then soon I'm going to glue my palette and my Grey Knight palette on there, and he will be ready for the battlefield as soon as I get him painted up. So guys, I'll put all the products down here on the bottom. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching.
Hey F and Peers, man, I hope you enjoyed the sand basing tutorial. Just like I always do before, I'll put all the different colors I use down here in the comments and everything, and give it a try. It's not too bad, not too hard, really easy to do. So other than that, guys, man, I appreciate everything. Thanks to the Patreon subscribers, man. I will catch y'all later. Deuces.